I am 80 years old, and there is one truth I wish someone had forced me to hear earlier. I thought life would slow down one day. I thought I still had time. It never slowed down, and time didn't wait for me. If you're listening to this, you still have a choice I waited too long to make. I am 80 years old as I speak these words. I have buried friends. I have lost people I thought would live forever. I have watched the world change in ways my younger self could never imagine. And if there is one hard truth life taught me, one truth I wish someone had forced me to understand earlier, it is this: time does not wait for clarity. You think you have time. You think you'll change soon. You think you'll start living one day. I thought that too. When you are young, life feels endless, days feel long, years feel slow. You believe tomorrow is guaranteed because yesterday always arrived. You plan your life as if time owes you patience. It doesn't. Time is silent. It doesn't warn you. It doesn't explain itself. It just moves on with or without you. At 20, I thought I was busy. At 30, I thought I was building. At 40, I thought I was responsible. At 50, I thought I still had room to fix things. At 60, I realized many doors had quietly closed. At 70, I understood how many moments I had traded for things that didn't matter. And now at 80, I see it clearly. We spend most of our lives preparing to live instead of actually living. We postpone joy. We delay honesty. We silence our real selves to please others. We say later to the people who matter most. Later becomes never. I watched strong men work themselves into graves for jobs that replaced them in weeks. I watched loving parents miss their children's childhood chasing money they barely enjoyed. I watched marriages die not from betrayal but from neglect. No one ever said on their deathbed, "I wish I had spent more time worrying about what people think." But many said, "I wish I had been braver. I wish I had spoken sooner. I wish I hadn't waited so long." Here is the hard truth most people learn too late. Life punishes hesitation more than failure. Failure teaches. Mistakes shape you. But hesitation steals years. I was afraid of disappointing people, so I disappointed myself instead. I was afraid of change, so I stayed in places that slowly drained me. I was afraid of being alone, so I accepted relationships that made me lonely anyway. Comfort is seductive, but it is dangerous. Comfort whispers, "You're fine where you are." Time whispers nothing, it just leaves. One day, your body reminds you of what your mind ignored. Your energy fades. Your reflection changes. Your calendar fills with fewer plans and more appointments. And suddenly, the future you assumed you had becomes a memory you wish you'd used better. Let me tell you something painful but freeing. You do not need permission to live honestly. Most people live trapped inside expectations they never agreed to. They chase approval from people who are just as confused as they are. They follow paths designed by fear, tradition, or pressure, not by truth. I wasted years being reasonable when I should have been real. Being real costs comfort, but being fake costs your life. At 80, I don't care about impressing anyone. I care about peace. I care about meaning. I care about mornings I can enjoy and conversations that matter. If you are watching this and thinking, "I still have time," listen carefully. Yes, you have time. But you have less than you think. Your health is not guaranteed. Your relationships are not permanent. Your opportunities are not endless. Love the people you care about now, not when it's convenient. Say what you need to say, not when it's safe. Choose what feels right, not what looks acceptable. Stop waiting to feel ready. Readiness is a myth invented by fear. I wasn't ready when I made my best decisions. I was scared, but I moved anyway, and those moments, imperfect, uncertain, messy, are the ones I remember with pride. Here is another truth that stings. No one is coming to save you from a life you don't like. Not your family, not your friends, not society, not time. If something feels wrong, it's your responsibility to change it. If something feels empty, it's your responsibility to question it. If something drains you, it's your responsibility to let go. Holding on too long is one of life's most common regrets. We hold on to jobs we hate. We hold on to people who no longer respect us. We hold on to versions of ourselves that no longer fit. Letting go feels like loss until you realize what you gain. Clarity, freedom, peace. At 80, I finally understand this. A meaningful life is not built from big moments, but from small, honest choices repeated daily. Choosing rest when your body asks. Choosing truth when silence feels easier. Choosing courage when fear offers excuses. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a clear direction and the courage to take the next step. And please hear this, especially if you are young. Your worth is not measured by productivity. Your value is not tied to sacrifice. Your life is not a rehearsal. This is it. Every ordinary day you rush through will one day be something you wish you could relive. Every laugh you postpone will one day feel priceless. Every "I'll do it later" will echo louder with age. I don't say this to scare you. I say this to wake you up. Because if this video reaches you in time, then maybe my years weren't wasted. Leave now. Speak now. Choose now, before time makes the choice for you. I am 80 years old as I speak these words, not because I am wiser than you, but because I have less time left than you do. I wish someone had forced me to hear one truth earlier. I wish someone had shaken me and said, "Listen carefully, because time will not explain itself twice." When you are young, life feels endless. You believe tomorrow is guaranteed because yesterday always arrived. You think you will slow down one day. You think you will live fully when things settle. They never settle. Time doesn't warn you. It doesn't ask if you're ready. It doesn't wait for clarity. It just moves on. At 20, I thought I was busy. At 30, I thought I was building a future. At 40, I thought responsibility was the same thing as meaning. At 50, I believed I still had time to fix what I ignored. At 60, I noticed doors quietly closing. At 70, I realized how many moments I had traded for things that didn't last. And now at 80, everything is clear. We spend most of our lives preparing to live instead of actually living. We delay joy. We postpone honesty. We silence our real selves to fit expectations we never agreed to. We say later to the people we love most. Later becomes never. I watched strong men destroy their bodies for jobs that replaced them in weeks. I watched parents miss their children's childhood chasing money they barely enjoyed. I watched marriages end not because of betrayal, but because of neglect. No one ever said, "I wish I had worked more." They said, "I wish I had been braver. I wish I had spoken sooner. I wish I hadn't waited so long." Here is the hard truth life teaches painfully. Life punishes hesitation more than failure. Failure teaches you, mistakes shape you, but hesitation steals years quietly. I was afraid of disappointing others, so I disappointed myself. I was afraid of change, so I stayed where I slowly disappeared. I was afraid of being alone, so I accepted relationships that made me lonely anyway. Comfort is seductive, but comfort is dangerous. Comfort whispers, "You're fine where you are." Time whispers nothing, it simply leaves. One day, your body tells you what your mind refused to hear. Your energy fades. Your reflection changes. Your calendar fills with fewer plans and more appointments. And suddenly, the future you assumed you had becomes a memory you wish you had used better. I lost people I thought I had more time with. I lost health I believed would return. I lost years to a word that sounds harmless: someday. Someday is not a plan. It's a lie we tell ourselves to feel safe. I told myself I would slow down someday. I would forgive someday. I would enjoy life once things were settled. Life never settles. If you wait for calm waters before you live, you will wait forever. Here is another truth no one tells you. Busyness is often a way to avoid feeling. We stay busy to avoid grief, busy to avoid fear, busy to avoid asking questions that might change everything. Who am I without this role? Who am I without this routine? Who am I without this approval? I avoided those questions for decades, and when I finally asked them, the answers were not scary, they were freeing. I wasn't meant to be everything to everyone. I wasn't meant to earn rest through exhaustion. I wasn't meant to prove my worth through suffering. You don't owe the world your burnout. You owe yourself honesty. If something inside you feels tired beyond rest, that is not laziness. That is your soul asking for alignment. Listen now, not later, because later comes faster than you think. I remember the moment I realized my future was shorter than my past. It wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, a mirror, a slower step, a silence where ambition used to be. And in that silence, I felt something unexpected, relief. I no longer needed to become someone else. I only needed to be myself fully, honestly, without apology. Youth believes life is about addition. Age teaches that life is about subtraction. Subtract what drains you. Subtract what doesn't matter. Subtract the need to impress. What remains is peace. You don't find purpose. You live it moment by moment. Purpose is not a title. It's not fame. It's not recognition. It's how you show up when no one is watching. It's how you treat people when you gain nothing from it. It's how honestly you live with yourself. I waited for motivation and lost years. Motivation follows action, not the other way around. Fear never disappears, it only changes its shape. Fear of failure becomes fear of regret. Fear of rejection becomes fear of irrelevance. Fear of starting becomes fear of ending unfinished. I wish I had feared regret more than embarrassment. Embarrassment fades, regret stays. Say the thing, start the thing, leave the thing that is slowly killing your spirit. No one is judging you the way you think they are. Most people are too busy fighting their own fears, and here is a truth that took me far too long to accept. You are allowed to change even if it confuses people. Even if it disappoints them, staying the same to keep others comfortable is a quiet form of self-betrayal. Growth is not consistent. Growth is honest. If you have outgrown a version of yourself, let it go with gratitude, not guilt. At 80, I no longer fear death the way I once did. What I fear is dying without having truly lived. Most suffering does not come from reality. It comes from resisting reality. We resist aging instead of honoring it. We resist loss instead of grieving it. We resist change instead of flowing with it. Resistance exhausts the soul. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means letting go of the fight that is draining you. Happiness is not excitement. It is contentment without guilt, the ability to sit in silence, to be alone without feeling abandoned, to rest without feeling unproductive. Achievements don't hold your hand in the dark. Numbers don't sit beside you when life gets quiet. People do, and this is the truth I avoided longest. The way you love is the way you will be remembered, not your arguments, not your opinions, not your accomplishments, but your presence, your patience, your kindness when no one expected it. Legacy is not built at the end of life. It is built in ordinary moments. A call you almost didn't make, an apology you delayed, a forgiveness you thought they didn't deserve. Forgiveness doesn't excuse the past. It releases the future. You are not behind. You were learning. Stop punishing your past self for surviving the only way they knew how. If I could speak to my younger self now, I wouldn't lecture him. I would place a hand on his shoulder and say, "You are doing better than you think. Just don't forget to live." Because life is not solved, it is experienced. As my world grows smaller, it grows clearer. I don't chase meaning anymore. I notice it in breath, in light, in quiet gratitude. So if this message reaches you in time, hear it gently, slow down, pay attention, be kind, especially when it's inconvenient. Your life doesn't need to be louder, it needs to be truer, because in the end, what matters is not how fast you lived, but how deeply.